Hi, I love pork belly, and if you've never had pork belly before, it is a super duper treat. Now you can buy pork belly that's already been cooked at Trader Joe's, and that's good. But if you start with a fresh slab of pork side meat or pork belly, or sometimes they call it a slab of bacon or side meat, or simply sometimes they call it pork belly, you will love this. Essentially you can slice it and make your own bacon, but that's not what I like to do. What I do is I get my big piece of pork belly, and there's the skin. Some people trim that off. Don't do that. It's wonderful stuff. So basically you want to take a sharp knife, and we're going to get this ready to roast. Now, I have a hard time with sharp knives around here. My kids know it, which is why they're total goofballs in the background. So I'm going to have to try probably different knives to see if I can make any progress with this. But basically you want to score it, and I should have checked this before I started taping. You're going to score it. If you can get through this thick skin, it's not as bad. Once you get through the skin, you want to cut down. You're not going to cut it all the way through. You're only going to cut maybe a 1/4 inch or so. And hopefully your knives are sharper than mine. I'm going to try this knife. I'm not having any luck with this. And so be careful not to cut yourself. But you score through it, and I'm cutting it on a diagonal this way, and then I'm going to go back and create a crisscross. Whoops, if I don't cut myself first. I'm going to put on my list for Christmas, I want sharp knives. And part of it is the skin is so sharp. Excuse me, so tough. Let me try again with this. Maybe I'm just not. I have to get my CrossFit workout in. Maybe I'm just not cutting it correctly. But once you get it cut this way, there we go. Once you get it cut that way, like I said, you're going to create a crisscross. And then all you're going to do is season it with some salt and pepper. And you can season it with sea salt. And I like to use the big pieces of sea salt. It just has a great flavor when it comes out of the oven. Now I'm going to warn you, this is going to smell phenomenal. And I will actually take it and roast it and then cut pieces off to eat with vegetables. Yeah, that's working out okay. All right, let's cut it. I've got it cut this way. One of the reasons you want to score it is simply so that you get beyond that skin and get it roasted really well. So you can see it's not terribly deep. I'm getting past that layer of fat and a little into the meat. That's what it looks like on the bottom. So let's score it this way. And it's so gorgeous once you get it done. I can't believe how difficult this is for me to cut. But once you cut through and start roasting it, it is gorgeous, and you'll see it's worth that extra effort. My husband, my sous chef, is offering to help. Okay, I think I'm getting there. My right arm is getting so tired. But pork belly is really a nice fatty meat. You can serve it with, gosh, just about anything. Make some low carb biscuits to have with the pork belly. It's great with roasted vegetables. After we get it seasoned and get it in the oven, what we're going to do is we're going to roast it at high heat for about 30 minutes. And when I say high heat, 400, 425, your oven may smoke. So you want to make sure you have a clean oven before you try roasting this. And after you do it for about 30 minutes at that 425. That 425 is what makes the skin super crisp. After you roast it at 425, you're going to turn it down to about 375, 350, depending on your oven, and you're going to cook it for another 30 minutes or so. It will be brown and wonderful and crunchy on top. Now, I love the skin part because it is all crispy and wonderful. My family doesn't like that part, so guess who gets that? And of course, the dogs circle underneath our chairs as if they were starving. So you get an idea of the crisscross pattern and how well it's cut through there. So see, it makes such a pretty diagonal. Okay, let me wipe my hands up And yes, they are terribly messy. And I'm going to do some salt. I'm going to do some sea salt, finely ground. And yes, this is sea salt that I'm using. It's not pink Himalayan, but I've read that it doesn't matter if it's pink or not. I'm going to take the top of that and put some pepper on. And love the fresh pepper. And you can also knead that so that you get a little of the seasoning. I'm gonna have to wash this pepper grinder down in those crevices. So let me take it, I'm gonna put it in a roasting pan. So let me set that aside. And the fat will drip down, some fat will drip down in your roasting pan, but you do wanna put it up on a rack, because when you put it up on a rack, it gets crispy all over. Even the bottom part gets really well cooked. And so I'm just gonna rub some of that in, get it into the crevices just a little bit. Grace, can you come help me?
Sure.
I'm gonna hold it like this, and if you can just put some pepper over it.
Okay.
And we'll get it all down in there. I can't hold it. There you go. Oh, don't touch it. Stay up.
We have to wash it. So.
Yeah, we have to wash it well. Okay. There. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, and we're just going to put it in the oven. The oven's already warmed at 425. I'm going to put it in the oven for about 30 minutes. Then we'll turn the oven down, and then we'll show you what dinner looks like. Okay, so this has been in the oven at 425 for about 30 minutes. And look how gorgeous that is. There is some fat dripping off down into the bottom. I can render that to cook with later. But that's what it should look like when you lower the heat. So we're going to slide it back in there. Well, we're going to slide it back in there. And I've turned the heat down to 350. And we'll let it go for about 30 minutes and it'll be perfect. Okay, so we took our pork belly, we scored it, roasted it for 30 minutes at 425, and another 30 minutes or so at 350. And look at this gorgeousness. This is just beautiful. I've got to take some photographs of it, but I'm going to transfer it to a plate. And that looks like serving for one. What do you think? I may have to share this with the others, with my family, but let me cut this open. And it's still sizzling. I don't know if you can hear it, but the fat is still sizzling. And I just got it out of the oven. I've learned my lesson the hard way not to try foods I've taken just out of the oven. I've gotten a burn a time or two, but I wanted to cut this piece off so you could see inside of it. Almost. There we go. So you can see what it looks like there. And you can see the crispy bit of skin there. And it is hard. Just gonna get my fingers in here. It is really hard. And you've got the meat on the bottom and that wonderful fat. Oh. It's hot, but it is fantastic. So that is roasted pork belly. Hope you enjoy it with your family.